Let me rewind. Almost 2 weeks ago now, Friday night, this river is rising at a foot an hour as the rains that have been dumped in western North Carolina have traveled up the New River into Narrows. And this is where your new water line is going to be, well above my head. The water pretty much picked everything up, pushed it off of how it was standing. There is a camper attached. It was completely flooded also. And this is just one of the examples that we've got. The campground is littered, and we're starting to see a little bit more activity now. There is one storm in particular that's looking pretty nasty to me, and I wanted to just briefly cut into programming to show you where it is. This one is in Fayette County right now, not right over Anstead pretty much. This storm is showing a few signs of rotation. We now have a tornado warning out for portions of Fayette County. That means we're going to be on air until it expires. I was worried about the storm. That's why we just cut into programming a little bit ago, because it was showing some signs of broad rotation, and it does look like that has strengthened a bit. Right where you see that arrow going around, that's pretty much where our rotation is. We've got some very heavy rain. I've also seen some hail signatures on here, at least quarter-sized hail. Between Divide and Russellsville, I'm getting 98-mile-an-hour wind gust. Let's see if I can draw that or circle it for you right here. And right now we're still above freezing by 1 degree at the Greenbrier Valley Airport, but if that temperature is to drop a bit more, I do worry that we could see a little freezing fog, especially on those elevated surfaces like bridges and overpasses. So I would take it easy. If you're in a spot where temperatures are closer to freezing tonight and there's some fog around, just assume that you could have a very thin layer of ice develop. The fall foliage is at peak across a lot of our area. There's some people out here fishing, trying to get a little fall fishing in this evening. There's some people out here taking pictures and videos, and for good reason. You can see the gorgeous fall foliage behind me. This is peak color here at Glenwood Lake. I'm going to actually step off so Jess can get a little bit better of a view for you here. And it's going to get so gusty tonight. We're talking 40 to 50 plus mile-an-hour gust at times, and they're going to be coming straight out of the north and northwest as we head into tonight, and that's going to kick up again that upslope snow, and that's going to make it feel so cold. Look at the wind chills into tomorrow. By tomorrow morning, temperatures will have dropped into the 20s, and we're talking about wind chills in the teens, and then throughout the day, they just get lower. Well, as you can see, the flakes are still falling outside of our studios here in Bluefield. We will continue to see snow on and off tonight. At times it's been lighter, at times it's been heavier, and that's the way it's going to be through the wee hours of Friday morning. Again, the weather is just the cherry on top to our Football Friday because it's not going to be like last week. We've been warm today, but not as hot and humid as last week. And the good news is we're not expecting any severe weather, really any rain for that matter, through game time. Went there and visited Miss Pruitt's kindergarten class today while the weather was warm and quiet. These kids were bright. I do think there's some future meteorologists in this group. We've got the Sea Lion show that's getting ready to go on a little bit later. These guys are from Texas, and they are quite a hoot. And my son, Oaken, is enjoying. He's actually not quite sure what to think. I swear, they're just like the cutest. They're like these little dogs of the water. They're so cool. Hey, thanks, Martin. Well, as far as the forecast goes, we've definitely entered late week on a wintry note. We've started to see the snow come down more and more in more places, and it will continue on and off through the overnight hours. Look at our Burke's Garden camera. It looks kind of bizarre right now with the flakes just flying crazily all around. And Burke's Garden could end up with 5-6 inches at some of those really high ridge lines before it's all said and done. It's what we call the upslope snow machine. These moisture is hitting our western facing slopes. It's cooling, condensing, and this is what we call lake enhanced moisture as well. If we lived right at the Great Lakes, that's when you call it lake effect snow. But since we're not right at the Great Lakes, this is called lake enhanced. We just get some of the moisture off of the Great Lakes into our area. And as temperatures are dropping, I anticipate most of the accumulation, several inches could be possible, will occur overnight tonight while temperatures are coldest, and the most of it is going to stick. Tomorrow we should climb above freezing, so some of that will melt away and road conditions will improve into Friday. But tonight, got to be super careful out there as we're just going to continue to see bands of snow on and off throughout the night, especially on those back and side streets. We do have winter storm warnings still in effect for southeast Fayette, Western Greenbrier, northwest Pocahontas. This is where the highest snow totals will be. The rest of us, not as much, not the storm of the century by any means, but just enough snow to cover the ground in most places and cause some issues on the roads again late tonight through early Friday. Winter weather advisories are in effect for everyone else in our area with the exception of Bland with Giles, which are expecting much lower totals. Wind advisories also in effect for most of our area as well. Gusty today. It's going to stay gusty tonight. At times, winds could blow 50 miles an hour across the high terrain. This could cause power loss at times, at least sporadic outages, and it could also blow that snow around quite a bit, so it might make it hard to see for those motorists as well. So please be careful again late tonight, early tomorrow. We're holding the snow map as of now. Most of our area, again, and most of this comes overnight, you're looking at 1 to 3 inches. So again, not a huge snow. But along these ridge lines, you could see really locally higher amounts, very elevation dependent snowfall, because the higher you go, the colder it is. So 4, 5, 6 inches could be possible in some of the dark blue and the purples here, right along those highest peaks. And we could see up to a foot in some areas of the really high elevations of Western Greenbrier, northwest Pocahontas, Snowshoe Resort, getting a foot, if not more than that, all the way through Friday and into Saturday. Now, the cold air that's really giving us the snow now lifts out into tomorrow, so we don't have quite as much. So watch what happens on Futurecast. Again, we got some snow tonight for sure. It'll just be on and off throughout the night, again, especially across those western slopes. As we head into Friday, we get a little break during the morning, and notice temperatures will creep above freezing during the afternoon. We'll still have a little cold air above our heads, so some snow will fall again tomorrow night. But notice we've got some mixing. Some rain looks to mix in, except for the really high spots north of I-64, which will stay primarily snow. So I think road conditions tomorrow will be better. We won't have as much of that on the roads tomorrow night. We'll see some melting as well. But cold and windy nonetheless. We dry out through the weekend. The beginning of next week looking very mild. Ben, Martin?
Thank you, Catherine.